What's up? It's Chris Heria. Welcome to another vlog. Today I'm going to be showing you the 10 different levels to pull-ups, starting with the very easiest progression that anybody can do, then working our way up to the hardest level, one-arm pull-ups. Now, each exercise of each level is very important, and it's going to help you move on to the next level. So as you follow along, you're going to find a level that challenges you, and you're going to need to train all the previous levels and progressions to be able to get to the next one. So for example, if you're at level 5, you need to train level 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 to build up your strength and skill to reach level 6, and so forth, all the way to level 10. Keep in mind, with each level and progression, you want to be doing the exercise as perfect as possible. Once you get it perfect, then you can start focusing on adding more perfect repetitions. And with each level, I'll be giving you a requirement to pass to ensure that you're ready to move on to the next one. So if you're ready to get started and to properly follow along, if you haven't already, download the Heria Pro app in the App Store or Google Play Store, open up to the YouTube workout section, you're going to find this routine and you're ready to get started. The very first progression, which would be level 1 and the easiest pull-up variation that anybody can do to start off, would be Australian pull-ups. So I'm going to do 10 reps with the rings, and then I'm going to break down this exercise for you. You always want to be pulling the bar straight to your chest, and you always want to have your body in a straight line from your heel to your shoulders with your core tight. And because your feet are always on the ground for this exercise, you're never pulling your complete body weight like you would in a pull-up, which is going to be great for beginners so they can focus on their form and build their strength up and be able to work with a heavier load like their entire body weight. All right, so there we have Australian pull-ups, the very first progression to start training for pull-ups. Now, Australian pull-ups is level 1 and the easiest progression to pull-ups because the amount of resistance that you can apply to the exercise is completely scalable depending on the angle on how you perform this exercise. The lower the angle you are, the more resistance you're applying onto this exercise, and the higher of an angle you perform this exercise at, the less resistance will be applied, which will make it a lot easier and more manageable, making it so that anybody can do it and anyone can start training for pull-ups and start engaging their back and pulling muscles. Australian pull-ups are typically done on the side of a low bar or dip bars, but they can also be done putting 2 chairs together if you have the right chairs, or any other elevated surface that you can pull from while still having your feet on the ground. Now, before moving on to level 2, you want to make sure that you can do at least 10 perfect Australian pull-ups of an angle about hip height. If you can do that, then you're ready for level 2, and level 2 is going to be jumping negative pull-ups. I'm going to go for 5 reps, and then we're going to break it down. With this next progression, we're increasing the difficulty by simulating the same position and motion of an actual pull-up and using our entire body weight as resistance. At the beginning, you may be mainly jumping into this exercise, but the more you do it, you're eventually going to be able to pull more on the concentric, jumping less and getting you closer to maintaining an actual pull-up. All right, there we have jump negative pull-ups, the very next progression, level 2 to mastering the pull-ups. This exercise is more focused on the eccentric portion, the negative of the exercise. And like I always say, if you can't yet do a progression or handle a heavier load, always work the concentric negative portion of the exercise, and eventually your strength is going to be able to build up to do the concentric portion. Now, when doing jumping negative pull-ups or any form of pull-ups, you always want to keep in mind a strong grip, shoulder blades retracted at the top, and your body as tight and straight as you can with your feet tight together, toes pointed, and your body straight from your shoulders all the way down to your toes. Maintaining a tight core and keeping your whole body contracted as a unit all the way up and all the way down. Also, every time you pull up, you always want to be slightly leaning back and aiming the bar to your chest with every single rep. And once you can do this for 12 reps consecutively with perfect form, then you're ready to move on to level 3. And level 3 is going to be pull-ups. I'm going to go for 5 reps and show you what that looks like. You always want to be aiming to bring your chest to the bar. But of course, if you just got to level 3, you're still building your strength. Getting your chin over the bar is fine, but you always want to be working towards pulling harder and higher. All right, so there we have pull-ups. You always want to make sure that you're using perfect form, starting off with your grip as tight and strong as possible. Scapula is retracted with your core tight and your body in a straight and tight line, completely contracted as one unit, pointing your toes and feet tight together. Once you can do it as perfect as possible, then you can focus on increasing your repetitions, as they'll be perfect repetitions versus trying to increase repetitions of something that's not that great. The more perfect your form is, the more and harder your muscles contract, building you stronger and better quality muscles. Now, at level 3, once you develop the strength to be able to do pull-ups, you can also start introducing different grips as well, like chin-ups, switch grip. Try and work with them all, as they're going to develop different areas of your back and overall increase your pulling strength. Now, before moving on to level 4, you want to be able to do at least 10 perfect consecutive pull-ups in a row before progressing to level 5. And if you're still having trouble with pull-ups, you want to train Australian pull-ups, jump negative pull-ups, and pull-ups and all their different grips all together to eventually build the strength and be able to move on to level 4. And level 4 is going to be a bit harder with L-sit pull-ups. I'm gonna go for 5 reps, and then I'm gonna break it down for you. You always need to have perfect form. Strong grip in your wrists, shoulders retracted, back activated, body in a straight line with your feet tight together and toes pointed, and maintaining your core tight, keeping your entire body contracted as one unit as you pull up and down. All right, so there we have L-sit pull-ups, a lot harder than the average pull-up. If it's your first time trying L-sit pull-ups, you can always start off by first trying them in a tucked L-sit position. Eventually, you can try just doing 1 L-sit pull-up as perfect as possible, every minute on the minute, eventually building up to 2 perfect L-sit pull-ups consecutively every minute on the minute, and building up so forth. With this variation, because your legs are locked out straight in front of you, it's gonna require a lot more stabilization and a lot more core strength in order to complete each rep without dropping your feet below 90 degrees. And remember, when performing any type of pull-up or variation, you always need to have perfect form. The better your form is, the more control you're gonna have over the exercise, and the stronger you're gonna get, and the faster you're gonna be able to progress on. So when you're just getting started, just focus on doing 1 as perfect as possible, and then of course, work your way down the other previous levels and progressions. Once you've done as many L-sit pull-ups as you can with perfect form, then move down to pull-ups or any other variations with different grips, then move down to jump negative pull-ups, and then finally move down to Australian pull-ups. That's gonna keep the time under tension up in your pulling muscles like your back and your biceps. And instead of giving up like you normally would have when you can't do any L-sit pull-ups, you go to the easier progression that allows you to keep on going all the way down to the easiest, ensuring that you gave it your all and you left nothing on the table, maximizing your gains. Now, before moving on to level 5, you wanna make sure that you can do at least 6 perfect L-sit pull-ups consecutively in a row. And if you're able to accomplish that, then you're ready for level 5. And level 5 is gonna be inverted row pull-ups. I'm gonna go for 5 reps, show you what it looks like, then break it down. With inverted row pull-ups, we're further increasing the difficulty, pulling from a horizontal position and maintaining your legs up. Your back and your lats are gonna be way more engaged, and it's gonna require a lot more stabilization and core strength while performing your pull-ups. All right, there we have inverted row pull-ups. Now to get into this exercise, it's just like doing a toes to bar, except once your feet reach the bar, lean back, engage your lower back, and push up your hips. From this position, you wanna maintain and pull right up to your abdomen and all the way back down. If you're just getting started, just focus on 1 perfect rep every minute for at least 10 minutes. Eventually, as you train like this, you're gonna be able to do 2 consecutive perfect reps every minute, and then you wanna continue to use that technique to build up your repetitions to 3, 4, 5, and beyond. And of course, you need to be using and training all the previous progressions that we just covered to be able to move on to the very next progression. Now, before moving on, you wanna make sure that you can do at least 7 perfect inverted row pull-ups consecutively before moving on to level 6. Now, level 6, we have archer pull-ups. I'm gonna go for 6 reps and then break it down for you. And now we're starting to use more of one arm than the other with this progression, developing even more strength and getting us closer to be able to handle our own body weight with just 1 arm versus 2. All right, there we have archer pull-ups. Just like before, when we were working our way up to eventually do pull-ups, we couldn't just start using our entire body weight. We had to ease our way in, starting with Australian pull-ups, then going into jumping 1-arm pull-ups, then moving into jumping negative pull-ups, and eventually building our strength to do real pull-ups. We're gonna do the same thing transitioning into 1-arm pull-ups. So with archer pull-ups, our opposing arm is assisting, but we are doing more weight and more resistance than what we're used to. So you wanna practice your archer pull-ups with perfect form, and if you're just getting started, you can also try training Australian archer pull-ups as well as all the previous levels and progressions. And to ensure that you're ready for level 7, you want to be able to do at least 8 consecutive repetitions of archer pull-ups. Once you can accomplish that, you're ready for level 7, which is high pull-ups. I'm gonna go for 5 reps, show you what it looks like, then break it down. Pulling this high requires an even longer range of motion, so that's gonna be engaging way more of your back, your lats. You should significantly have developed your pulling strength and be able to at least pull chest to bar. All right, there we have high pull-ups. Now you notice that we're starting to pull way stronger and way higher, bringing your abdomen to the bar. To train for this exercise, you're gonna need a strong grip, and you're gonna need to start training your explosiveness, pulling as hard as you can with every single repetition without breaking form. Other things that you can train to help increase your pulling explosiveness can be weighted pull-ups and explosive pull-ups. You can do weighted pull-ups with the weight belt or with the weight vest. If you need a weight belt, you can always find one at thanks.com/shop, but I personally love using a weight vest because once you put it on, you can just continue to train, and eventually you'll forget it's on. And once you're training with it as if it's not on, when you take it off, you're gonna fly and you're really gonna feel that explosive strength. Specifically, one of the things that I trained for to unlock my high pull-ups was starting from a pull-up position seated on the ground, like in an L-sit, like from the side of a dip bar or a low bar. From there, I have all my dead weight on the ground. I try to explode and pull my body up as high as I can all the way to my waistline, focusing on giving everything I got into just 1 repetition. Eventually, I was able to pull it higher and higher. Once I got to my waistline, I started focusing on increasing my repetitions. And of course, I used all the previous levels of progressions to build my strength as well. And once you can do at least 5 perfect consecutive high pull-ups in a row, then you're ready for level 8, and that's gonna be high L-sit pull-ups. I'm gonna go for 5 reps, show you what it looks like, and break it down. All right, there we have the high L-sit pull-up, definitely an advanced pulling variation. And as you can see, to increase the difficulty on a pull-up, we use an L-sit pull-ups. Now to increase the difficulty on a high pull-up, we use an high L-sit pull-ups. Just like the L-sit pull-up, doing a high pull-up in an L-sit position is gonna make this exercise so much harder, requiring way more stabilization as well as abdominal and full body strength. Now you wanna be able to do at least 5 perfect L-sit pull-ups consecutively before moving on to level 9. And if you're able to do that, you're ready for level 9. That's gonna be pull-up 1 arm negative. I'm gonna go for 4 reps, show you what that looks like. Now we're really starting to use our entire body weight onto just one limb and really focusing on the eccentric portion of this exercise. As I said before, with jumping negative pull-ups, focusing on the eccentric is eventually going to give you the concentric. All right, so there we have the pull-up, 1 arm negative. And as you can see, the more you work this negative 1 arm motion, eventually you're gonna build the strength to pull right back up. So you wanna master the pull-up 1 arm negative, and you wanna use all the previous progressions to get you there. And once you can do 6 pull-up 1 arm negatives for each arm consecutively, then you're ready to move on to the last level. That's gonna be level 10, 1 arm pull-ups. I'm gonna go for 2 on each arm, show you what it looks like, then break it down for you. All right, there we have 1 arm pull-ups. The last and ultimate level when it comes to pull-ups, doing it with 1 arm. And of course, once you've mastered the 1 arm pull-up, your next goal would be to increase your repetitions and to increase the overload, maybe by adding some weight with a weight belt or a weight vest. But if you just made it to level 10 and you're just starting off with this progression, you can always try some jumping 1 arm pull-ups and really focus on the negative eccentric portion before going to a full-on 1 arm pull-up. Remember, always focus on first trying to get 1 perfect repetition, then you can start focusing on increasing your repetitions. And always use negative and eccentric movements like the negative 1 arm, as they're gonna help you build tremendous strength and help you get to 1 arm pull-ups so much faster. And when doing 1 arm pull-ups, because you're holding with 1 arm, sometimes your body can tend to sway, and that's why it's super important that you've been using perfect form with every single progression, so that by now you should already have a solid grip. You should have solid core strength coming from your obliques to your abdominals, and you should always be in a straight line, contracting your entire body as a unit with your scapulas retracted. If you're doing this as an active hang right before you go for your repetitions, then the 1 arm pull-up is gonna be a lot easier and you're gonna have a lot more control. The form's gonna look a lot nicer as well. And remember, to increase your repetitions, once you can do 1 perfect one, you wanna do 1 perfect 1 arm pull-up every minute on the minute until you're able to do 2 consecutively in a row. Then you want to do 2 perfect repetitions consecutively every minute on the minute, and so forth, to build up your repetitions to 3 and so on. And once you build up your repetitions to about 4 or 5 reps consecutively in each arm, you can then introduce external weight, starting to put more weight onto your body as you do 1 arm pull-ups. When I first got started, I would hold a 5-pound dumbbell in my opposing arm as I would do the 1 arm pull-ups, and eventually I would hold a heavier weight. And with that said, that's going to be the 10 levels to pull-ups, starting with the very first progression that anybody can do, working our way all the way up to 1 arm pull-ups, the ultimate level of pulling strength. So if you enjoyed this video, then definitely smash that like button, leave a comment down below, let me know what you thought about the video, if there were some exercises I left missing, and what you want the next video to be about. And of course, if you haven't already, share this video with a friend that's trying to upgrade their pull-up game, and make sure you smash that subscribe button if you haven't already. I post every single Thursday, 2 p.m. USA Eastern Time, and if you comment within the first 30 minutes, you always have a chance to win some free Heria apparel. And don't forget to get this routine and all my personal workouts and workout programs, getting you in the best shape of your life, that I've created with specific goals in mind, like burning fat while simultaneously building solid muscle with minimal to no equipment. Then make sure you download the Heria Pro app in the App Store or Google Play Store. Then become a member at heriapro.com to get full access to all my routines and programs. It's like having me as a personal trainer right in your pocket. And for more of my content during the week, make sure you're following me on Instagram. Almost every single post, I always do some type of giveaway. Just the other week, I gave away a Heria weight vest. So if you want a chance to be a part of that, make sure you're following me on IG. But that's gonna be it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next Thursday, 2 p.m. USA Eastern Time. Mad love. Peace out.
like button, guys.